Hey guys, what's up? This is David from ConMenRDW here, and I wanted to make this video real quick because me and Al, aka King Too Dark, say what's up, Al.
Yo, what's up?
We just finished watching all of Win or Lose, the Disney Pixar animated series, 8 episodes, Disney Plus. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. I've been watching this cook for the last 4 to 5 years, and I've been waiting for this to come out. It was going to be a movie at first. It got sent to streaming. It's 8 episodes. We binged the whole thing in an evening. And damn, bro, this was so fucking good. It was so good. So we're just going to gush about it and just brain dump for the next 15 minutes or so about our thoughts on the show. If you haven't seen Win or Lose, we're gonna keep it loose for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're just gonna talk spoilers. But you're safe for now. So, Al, what did you think about Win or Lose?
Honestly, when we come down to it, Win or Lose, I really love this story.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact of seeing this from multiple perspectives and all within like the same amount of time.
1 week.
Yes. Honestly, really great. And I love how in depth everything goes, where it's like everybody has their own individual issues. And some issues to you that you may think is pretty small is pretty big to somebody else. And then not to mention there's some points where you see some issues or some, worries or some problem that you're personally dealing with that kind of pops up on there. It's like, wow, this hits a little bit closer to home than I thought it would end up hitting.
Yeah, man. For people who don't know what Win or Lose is exactly, like I said, it is a Disney Pixar short series. It basically takes place, like Al mentioned, within the span of a week, 7 days, and it is seen from basically 8 different perspectives on kids on the softball team, parents, adults that are in charge of the kids on the softball team, and pretty much they're just going to the championship. And the last pivotal climactic moment of the game, or of the show, is pretty much what happens at that championship game. But just every individual character has their own thing going on. And it's like, they did this stuff that they did in Turning Red, which was they did a great job of, like, I don't know what team of Pixar and Disney works on these, like, coming-of-age current shows for Disney animation, but they're so damn good at it. Like, they got the generational trauma beats of, like, being a middle schooler and stuff like that down perfectly in Turning Red, and that is just amplified in Win or Lose 8-fold.
Because another big, like, this is honestly just really good. Because not to mention, like you mentioned before, with the team I was working with this, I really would like for them to actually go ahead and make an actual, like, to see make a movie. It doesn't even have to be about this. I would just want to see this team make a movie, just because there were just some moments in it that's just straight up laugh out, literally hollering, laughing.
Oh yeah,
how good it was as well.
The humor was actually up there. Like, we were dying laughing at the end of the first episode. We were dying laughing on multiple occasions, and even like we were just vocally invested while watching this show. Man, it's so good. If you love Disney animation, it's like, also you gotta, like, there's some people out there who are gonna look at this and see some of the parts that they're highlighting, like Vanessa the mom, that's basically like 30 years old and she's acting like a cringe millennial. Like, that's gonna be a thing that people are like, oh, this is cringe, I don't want to watch this. Or UN the pitcher, him being extra in the clips that they're highlighting, they're gonna be like, this is cringe, I don't want to watch this, and other stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it's cringe because they're middle schoolers and also millennials. So it's obviously, it's, bro, let the cringe take you and enjoy the damn show. But here's the thing. As cringe as the show can be sometimes to some people, for me, I watched it no problem. I wasn't doing all that cringing and stuff. I thought it was a great watch. Like, the kids were acting like genuine kids. There were also some characters, like Rochelle, episode 3. She was like a kid that was also mature for her age, and her dynamic between her mom and her was really good. The thing with, like, the whole young love of, like, being in a relationship for like a week with Ewan and Taylor, fucking adorable, but also super accurate and corny. Umpire Frank's little thing with, like, him putting up a shield and being like, being the umpire, but also like having his own walls put up and stuff like that. That was handled really well. Like, Yeah, they did every single little bit of like personality that they could get on these characters, and also like the whole like, I guess, exaggeration of some of these emotions as well was done like perfectly spot on.
Yes, no, absolutely. And like another thing as well, like you, because I want to kind of piggyback off of what you were just talking about as well, which was talking about like coming from like the millennial mindset as well. Because remember, there was a moment I told you like, oh, the moment when you're the same age as some of the parents in this show.
Umpire Frank is 32. Vanessa the mom is 30. Coach Dan is probably around like 33, 34. Like, these parents are our age. They're around our age. And the people who are making Disney animation, I had this whole freaking coming of age thing when I was watching Turning Red, is people who are my age that got into animation are making animated things now. And we're doing it good. Like, these are good stories. And they're real. And they're touching on things that people sometimes don't want to talk about. Like, I mean, like, they're just touching on, like, let's just start getting into spoilers now. So we're going to start talking spoilers. If you don't care about watching Win or Lose, listen to each individual thing we're going to talk about. If you want to watch it, watch the show, and then come back, because we're going to talk spoilers now. Episode 1, with Lori, who is Coach Dan's daughter. They were taking a take with her where she's like religious, like she's literally praying to God multiple times, like, help me hit this ball, help me like find, like, be good at this thing. She's religious, and that's something we never see really in animation anymore. Like, we're more so not, we're trying to like get away from religion and stuff, it seems, but now it's like we got a character that's straight up just openly, she's just praying. But it's like, it's not like beating over the head with a Bible type thing. It's just like, oh, this kid has a little faith in her. Okay, cool.
And it's like one of those moments where, like, if you see it, you notice it. If you notice it, you notice it. If you don't, it'll kind of fly past the radar. But like something else they end up doing as well is, because when we was watching, like, for example, their mother even has, like, she was looking at, like, one of the first things she says when you see her is, oh, that seems sacrifice. That seems a little dark. But she's looking at tarot cards, so she's straight up looking at, like, I guess you kind of say, I don't want to necessarily say witchcraft, but in some people's eyes, or a lot of religious people's eyes, she's looking at witchcraft, which kind of does lead to speculation of what caused them to go about, like, her and the father, like her and the coach, getting separated. Like, what was the issue there? Yeah, like, was it like, was it a cross of religion? Was it one person lost faith? Like, another thing that we end up seeing as well, like, skipping into like episode 8, because again, we're spoiling across the board. Like, how the coach started blowing up. So it's like, is it the thing of he had like anger problems, and he was trying to do a thing where he starts trying to repress that anger, and in turns it's like he's swallowing it and building up. But that was really cool going about seeing that.
And also, it's like, just with the show too, is they don't really, they touch on things, but it's like they're not going super heavy into detail on it. It's like, it's just enough where you're like, oh, this is just something that to be mindful of, Like, for example, in episode 2 with Umpire Frank, the whole concept of him is he was pretty much in a relationship that was really good, and they were basically about to make it official, and like his girlfriend basically proposed to him, or just like, do you want to get married? And he clammed up. But then it's like, we immediately fast forward to now he's by himself, but also we see that, oh, they're in the same school, they both teach at the same school, but then apparently she also was seeing someone else, and she got proposed to by someone else before he could even try to get back with her. But it's like, we don't know who she's with, and it doesn't matter, because we're gonna move past that and just keep it moving. So it's like little points of like plot like that, how they just keep building on top of things, And I'm just like, the pacing is really, it didn't feel like they were rushing things too much, but they were just like giving you just enough where you can be like, what do they mean by this? Oh, okay, then you get your answer, Or even if you don't, it's like you feel fine with what the thing they're doing is,
Yeah, and like another thing as well with Coach Frank, and again, looking at this from multiple views, from multiple situations, is like, for example, Coach Frank, when he started trying to get back into the dating field, how he started, he's been basically like using like this dating app that the janitor, I guess you can say his friend, ended up setting up for him. And as he's going through, he's also having like, the ups and downs of it, like doesn't know how to make a profile. So, his profile is kind of boring. He hits it off with somebody, then he tried to make himself sound cool, and he ends up getting ghosted. Ends up now he's just trying to swipe right on just about anybody, and then he finally does end up being with somebody who he does vibe with. He's messaging all the time, all day and night.
And you think they're gonna get together?
Yep. And then right before they said like, hey, we want to meet out. I'm sorry. I think I'm still in love with my ex. Which, looking at it from the we never see who he's talking to.
Yeah.
But looking from the perspective of the person he's talking to, probably one of those things where like, wow, that sucks. We've been talking all this time and you haven't even moved on. But it's also a situation of it's like, hey, you think that you're ready to move on, but you're actually not. So go ahead and be the mature person and decide to go ahead and cut it out before, you put yourself in a situation where you're hurting somebody else, and you're just right back in the same situation that you've been in before.
And then it's like, even with, and like also with Frank too, I could see some people being like him kind of like starting to be interested in Vanessa, like Rochelle's mom at the end. I'm like, that seems a little quick, but also it's like, if anything, he's mostly just like, oh, you're cute type of thing, like, oh, you're attractive physically, like maybe they won't click on another, but it was one of those things where it's like I kind of felt like that was a little rushed. If anything, that was the fastest thing in the whole show. But other than that, I was fine. But yeah,
it also doesn't hurt that apparently, according to Rochelle, like he is her favorite teacher.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess like
the daughter already likes him.
Pays a bill on the headache there.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, speaking of Rochelle, her trauma that she kind of ended up having to deal with, like more or less in a sense, although accidentally, but the fact of being that kid of I have to grow up because my mother's either too busy, my father's not around, or just a kid who's forced to be an adult before they're ready to be an adult.
Yeah,
which is basically her entire episode.
Yeah, like I like how they'll do the whole thing where like she just in her own head is growing up in a business suit type thing.
With the shoulder pads and all. That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, I really like how they did that. Just like her whole thing of just being not only the responsible team member, but like the responsible kid, but also just knowing how to hustle at the same time. Which I guess in a way she gets from her mom. Because even with her mom's episode, it's like we see that her mom also, like, it's a very cool thing how they did the contrasting episodes where it's like we see this from her daughter's perspective, and then we see it from her mom's perspective. And of course, from the child's perspective, is my mom is always on her phone. She's so immature. She doesn't care about what I'm doing. I have to be the mature one. But also on the mom's side, it's I'm trying to get my shit together to provide for my kids. I'm outgoing. I'm doing ride share. I'm getting another job because of my skills with being a content creator and an influencer. I have the personality to get another job, no issue. So she ended up getting another job, but it's like we don't really touch on that. But it's like she ended up fixing it. Like she ended up fixing the issue she got in. So that's cool. But then also it's like even though Vanessa is, I guess, still in tune with like that her young self, her inner child. She's hip with kids, you know, like from her being in the high school party and like not getting kicked out because she was old, you know. But she's still there for her kids. Like when she got fired from her job because her dickhead fucking teenage boss fired her because she went to go to check on her baby in daycare, and then she went and found her kid when she was stranded at a gas station and didn't have her phone, so she went and found her immediately. So, like, she's a great mom, even though she has her flaws of, like, maybe being a little immature and stuff like that. So, I really like that storyline.
Yeah, because, like, I like the way that both of their stories are kind of a case of, like, who's in the right. It depends on your perspective. Because, I mean, like, looking at it from Rochelle's, like, when I first looked at it from Rochelle's perspective, I'm like, okay, so this mother just does not care about her daughter at all. And then you look at the mother perspective, then you're like, oh, she cares a lot because she's basically doing everything she can for her daughter. Because again, she's a single mother. She has a kid who's in middle school. She has a baby who's in daycare, trying to do all that, juggle a job while also still trying to be a parent, go to her kids' games, and basically trying to do what she can to make ends meet. Even lied to the point where she lied to her daughter. She's like, "Oh, my old job? Yeah, no, I quit. I was supposed to tell her I got fired for trying to take care of, take care of the baby."
Yeah.
And it's like it's really, really cool to see, like, okay, how like Rochelle was forced to grow up because she felt like her mother wasn't being there, and the mother's not being there because she's doing everything she can to make sure that her daughter never has to ask for anything, never has to do more than she needs to do. Like, for example, with Rochelle trying to save up money for the next year's for next season.
Yeah.
She's trying to save up money. Not a single time she ended up asking her mother, "Hey, Mom, I need the money for that season because it's going up." When her mother asked, "Oh, what did you go talk to the coach about?" She said, "Oh, just paperwork, nothing to worry about." Because she doesn't want to put that on her mother's plate, because she feel like she needs to grow up and be able to do it herself. But on the other side, if the mother knows, she's going to do everything she can to go help her out. I mean, she went ahead and bought, from what we at least expect, a $200 pair of cleats for her daughter just to say she loves her.
Ira and Taylor. So Ira, the little kid, Ira, he's probably like, I mean, we could probably guess. Let's say like second grade. Nah, he's probably younger. Let's say like first grade. First grade, maybe. Something like that. Kindergarten, maybe.
I'd probably say like first grade. First grade, probably like bridging into second grade.
Yeah,
maybe.
First grade, second grade. Yeah. So the little brother, little sibling that's at all the softball games, ends up pretty much linking up with the high schoolers because they're being nice to him, but they're also pretty much using him to try to mess with the snack stand and like steal stuff, like just basic ass high schooler shit. But how they ended up doing the whole thing where like they're seeing the world through his eyes type of thing, really imaginative, like that whole thing, that was really cute. I like Ira's storyline. It was probably it was a part of it for sure, but like not my favorite out of all of them, but that episode was cool. Ira's a cute character. Episode 6, what did you think about Ira?
Actually, so when it came down to it, I kind of see where it was coming from, where, this person, he doesn't have any friends, because we don't see nobody in the show who's around this age except for, I guess you call it the guardian angel, who we'll talk about that in a minute. But there's really nobody else in the show who's around his age. He doesn't have anybody he can go play with. He's forced to, like, I'm guessing since it's like, not even summer break. I don't know what it is, because he's not in school. But he's basically forced to go to all of his sister's games. He has nothing to do there. He's just trying to, his only thing that's his entertainment is his imagination, and basically being told, hey, you don't have any friends. And the first person to actually give him any attention were the delinquent high schoolers, and he starts assuming them, thinking of them as friends, where in their eyes, it's seeing him as more or less kind of like a tool or a pet, in a sense. So his story altogether, it wasn't my favorite. I could say it was probably my least favorite. Not saying it was a bad story. Just out of everything, it was just like my least favorite. Probably just because it was probably like one of the least impactful stories in the overarching plot.
One other plot that pretty much is overarching throughout the whole thing was Ewan, which is pretty much the class clown character, the super immature, like all eyes on me kid. We all know some kid like Ewan. Like, he's really talented, he's really good at the sport, but also he's just fucking full of himself, but like in the first episode, we see that he admits that he likes Taylor, who is the other black girl on the team, and he's just like, I like you want to go out? And then she's like, sure. So then they start going out, and it's like a really quick turnover, as is most young love. Like, they're in a movie, and they just touch pinkies, and it's like the fucking cutest thing because they're so nervous. Taylor also actually wants to be like more valuable to the team as well, which is really cool. So like she's doing pitching drills with him, but she's like, don't go easy on me, like be serious, like I actually want to get better. But like with Ewan, he's just like all in his head. He has this like facade, this persona that he always puts on, which is basically just like hiding his true self, which is just basically a fucking little, like, just a normal ass kid that also just like, you know, just a normal chill kid, but he has to be on 10 all the time to show out, you know?
Yeah. He can't be vulnerable. He physically, like, he cannot show his vulnerable side.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually kind of cute to see, like, who he was internally, like, oh, how he's kind of like playing everything off on the outside, while internally he's like panicking, or, you know, he's super concerned. It's just like all these different things that's going on.
He's actually really chill to be around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like seeing the whole thing of like how him and Taylor were pretty much being their true selves around each other and being really comfortable with each other, and how they were like pretty much building up that relationship, that basically that metaphorical house together. Like they even had all their whole lives planned out and shit like that, which is really cute. But then it all came crashing down when he started doing that thing that, I mean, I guess every guy's done once or twice, which is just start being super insecure when other guys come around the girl that you like, and you just like feel like you gotta try to make a case or overcompensate, and then you end up acting like a dickhead, which is basically what Ewan did. Because like this is what we say, where they touch on things or they bring things up in the show. It's insignificant, or it's really important to the show, but it's like, we're gonna gloss over this, but it's just take a note of it. So basically Taylor was talking to the one kid who's like the tall fucking super pubescent dude on the team, but it's like they're talking about something with his brother, and it's clearly something where it's like she's known about this for a while. They're talking about it like she's helping him through this, but Ewan didn't know about it, so now he's acting weird. So he's just like, oh yeah, I also have a brother. Oh, what are you talking? And it's like, dude, just shut up, Ewan. So now she's just like, why can't you be chill? Why you always gotta be goofy all the time? Like, be serious sometimes. And then he's like, oh, now you can't take a joke, now you can't play around or anything. So then that really pissed off Taylor. So that was like a whole thing. That was like legit. Like, I get that whole cause he
because he started spiraling like bit by bit. Every single thing he kept doing, which was like every time he tried to make it better, he ended up making it worse. He started getting himself frustrated. Honestly, I would say like their whole situation of like their blow up during this episode was just that was actually hard. That was actually like
that was hard to watch. Yeah, the part, especially when Ewan accidentally like hurt her, like physically, like threw the ball at her, but then he also fucked it because he threw the ball and put it into play, which is like the biggest thing with the whole match is when Ewan threw, literally, like he actually threw the ball and fucked everything. But yeah, that was a big pivotal moment for sure.
Also,
but,
I gotta ask you, how did you feel about the Sharpie tattoos?
Oh, I've seen people doing that, man. That was cute though. Their little like ship name, that was cute. But yeah, they're watching their whole little. Oh, also highlight of that episode when they kissed and they had all the live action shit going on the screen. They got the Obama mic drop on screen. That was so fucking funny. That was so funny. They were like, what can we do to project the feeling of kissing someone for the first time? And it was all this random ass clips, and then
baby steps,
Obama mic drop.
The baby steps, a person on the backflip on a bike, all the other stuff. Like that's like one of the moments we were talking about. Like there's just like certain moments that just make you holler laughing. I can't believe we forgot to bring this up, which was in the first episode when Lori got hit by that ball.
Oh yeah, dude. Lori got truck cooned, but it was a baseball, bro. It was so fucking funny. That had us dying for 5 minutes after the first episode, man. That was so funny, man.
Yeah, no, that was good.
And then probably, I think I would agree. This is probably the highlight episode of the show. and highlight character Kai. So episode 7,
Kai.
when we went into Kai's whole thing. Yeah, you talk about it now.
Yeah, I love Kai. So as opposed to everybody else's episode starting 1 week prior to the championship game, Kai's story starts 1 year before the game starts. So Kai, they end up moving into the city. They don't know anybody. It's like, like they're with their father. Their father like, oh, you're gonna end up meeting somebody. You're gonna end up making and all this other stuff. As they go, I think they moved in with their with their grandmother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then as Kai's basically just as they're going through the city, they end up seeing the baseball field and seeing everybody out there playing softball. So after Kai kind of gets settled in for a hot second, they end up going skateboarding out, heading over towards the baseball field. Mind you, this entire time, Kai has their hood up. So you basically you don't know from this episode what Kai technically looks like. And as they get further into it, they end up playing out there at the baseball field and find out okay, they're playing softball and they're not that good at it. But big reason being is because they come from a similar but different sport. We're playing baseball. So the game is basically it's similar, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking them on to get used to that. And as they're out there playing it, they end up meeting the other teammates and just immediately hit it off, making friends. And the coach puts them on the team without even knowing what their name is. And this is when the evolution starts, because then you see they ask you, what is your name? They take off the hood and you see what would you call the hairstyle? Kind of like dreads?
Yeah, it's
dread fade?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they say my name's Kai. And Kai's just all happy and everything, and then it cuts over to going back home and Kai talking to their father. And this is where it's cool, because I didn't know this until you told me about it, David, about the fact that they did have a trans episode in mind that got cut.
Yeah,
but they kind of snuck this in there like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because with all of that, basically Kai's talking to the father saying are you sure? Because you always played baseball, but they said you know what? I still love you. Nothing's ever going to change. I'm always going to love you.
Yeah, it was the vibes of coming out on a conversation of a kid coming out to their parent, and it's the way they were how the dad was it's gonna be an adjustment, but it's I still love you, and then just Kai hugging her dad, and then just that whole thing. But yeah, when it's I said, they don't say the word trans. They don't do anything where it's you have to put the pieces together yourself and figure out what's happening. Because in the beginning of the episode, Kai's taking pictures off the wall, and you're just oh, so Kai used to play baseball. Baseball was a boy sport. Kai had long hair, kind of looked very androgynous, kind of looked like a girl. So now Kai identifies as a girl and is making their own transition. And then switching to softball, dad's you used to play baseball, they don't even throw the same, that whole thing. And also Kai says it's co-ed, so you're oh, I don't play baseball anymore because it's a boy sport. I identify as a girl, I can't play baseball anymore if I'm a girl. So now we're playing softball. So it's 1 + 1 = 3, bro. This shit was so well written. And it's you only get it if you fucking get it, but it's not beating it over your head. And then over the course of that year, the fact that they chose a year for Kai is the transition of Kai becoming more of themselves within that year. Because now Kai has longer hair, Kai's dressing different, Kai's being more open to being themselves. Kai ends up at an all-girl slumber party, and it's no one fucking cares because you're who you are and Kai's awesome. So it doesn't fucking matter. That was such a good episode.
And it's something they really, really did. And it's probably because coming from me and you, especially us coming from a black community, we know about the generational curse of a lot of people who are black, and coming out of this, it was already rough as it was for a black person to come out as gay, but also for a black person to come out as trans is even in today's society, it's still really, really question mark. But the fact that this broke a generational curse of not only the father base saying, even though again, in the technical terms of in the show, he was saying, "I still love you, even if you want to play softball, I'm still gonna love you. We're gonna call it for what it really is. Even though you're coming out as a girl, I still love you. You're still my child."
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the grandmother also ended up saying, because like the father said, "Hey, we need to go for a run," and the grandmother said, "Oh, calm down. She needs some rest."
Mm-hmm.
Even the grandmother was like, "Hey, this is no longer my daughter. Like, this isn't my grandson. This is my granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
She needs some rest." And like, that's just one of those things where it's like, it's small, but that's a really, really big thing, because it's like, now her father accepts it. Her grandmother, who she has a really, really close relationship with, accepts her for being her granddaughter. And it's all together just a really, really cool thing. And then, like you said, just seeing Kai's transition over the course of the year, from like, even like right after she came out, like how she started wearing like a little bit more of a looser clothes when she was out there at practice,
Mm-hmm.
then started wearing pink socks, then started wearing then she started wearing like pink shirt, like you said, going to the summer party with all the girls, and then her hair growing out, having like ear raised lipstick. It's like she just really embraced who she was. And like you said, it didn't even do a thing where like the show hits you over the head with it. It's almost one of those things where like, hey, it's here. You see it, I see it. We don't have to say it, but you know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they handled that really, and also like the whole concept of Kai also dealing with a parent who, like, Kai's dad used to play D1 baseball in college when he was younger. So Kai's dad is the competitive dad, the sports dad that's like, you like this sport I like, cool, I'm full in on it, and you're also gonna win every time. So Kai being like, I actually just like the sport. I'm not trying to be try hard ranked in this shit, but you're like forcing me to, and you're like pushing this pressure onto me. And also, like, Kai's dad ended up getting like a coaching position for the team, and now it's like, oh, did Kai's dad do this when Kai played baseball? And that's also like probably a little bit of trauma there for Kai possibly as well. So yeah, it was but then like on the 8th episode and also how Kai hurt her ankle and was trying to just tough it out, but the sound effects and the emphasis on those cracks and the thunder of like every time they fucked up their ankle throughout that episode, man, I felt that. Like, I was like, damn, bro.
Like, it was terrifying. Like, in the way that they end up this episode, which was she going up for a swing, hitting the ball, you just hear like that loud crack. End episode. It's like, what?
Yeah, they were on their shit with that. But yeah, Kai's a really well developed character. I love the concept of Kai. Just what they did for Kai in terms of just representation, but also just, yeah, I would have loved to see what they could do with it if they had no limits that they had to probably keep to. If they were just allowed to do whatever they want with that. But what they did do, like I said, it wasn't beating anything over your head. It was very subtle. If you missed it, you missed it. But if you got it, you got it. And I got it. The name of this episode, I got it. Yeah. Episode 8 was, of course, the coach's episode. And, I mean, that's the one that we really needed. That was the one that brought it all together. The dad who is pretty much just loves he loves baseball. Clearly, he loves taking care of the field that they play on. Like, the whole beginning of the episode is him getting ready at the ass crack of morning, getting the field set up. He's been a very he's been a very positive adult role model and coach for his kids the whole show. There's a bit in every episode where he says the speech post game, and every single episode that speech changes because every kid hears something different, or maybe he just said a lot of different speeches, but I'm pretty sure everyone heard something different. So we get to hear it from him at the end of that episode, where he basically just says, like, you kids are, like, you guys are my family. I feel like I need you guys more than you need me, because, like we mentioned, he's Laurie's dad, and they're going through a whole divorce thing. So we get to see the shot of, like, Laurie really looks after her dad. Like, we figure that out in episode 1. But then it's like to see that after he drops her off at her mom's house, he just goes back to a motel. and he's just living the single bachelor life like you usually see. And yeah, just seeing that whole thing, and then also seeing that his like little hang up, his little quirk, is that basically he probably just is holding a lot of emotions in. He's blowing up, like the whole climax of the last episode is basically he's going off on the umpire. He's just having a fucking meltdown, and like all the kids have to kind of reel him in. Like Lori has to reel him in, but he wanted. There's a cutting room floor thing of him like swearing. Like he definitely
they did so many cutaways. We said, "Son of a big game today, guys." But like something I also want to go about talking about, because obviously since Win Lose it is centered around softball and baseball. I had to touch about this because we ended up mentioning this before while we were watching the show. The back catcher in many cases is basically kind of like the heart behind the game. Even if you want to say like the pitchers, like the brain, like they're the one that gets everything moving. The back catcher is the one that gets everything pumping. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that's calling out the plays to the they're the ones that's calling out the plays to the pitcher. They're the one that's basically like nothing without the back catcher, nothing goes by happening. And Rochelle ended up doing the thing where she was basically kind of like the thing where she was calling out everything from the back catcher spot to everybody into the outfield, telling them what to do, kind of their own different things. And one thing that I don't know if you have realized, I'm pretty sure you realized this, but when Rochelle ended up coming back after she was gone for a minute, because she arrived late to the game, the moment she came back and everything was in disarray, the moment she came in, she started taking charge along with Lori, then everybody else started falling in line right behind.
Finished recording. You may hang up.
Yeah, she was that backbone. Like literally without Rochelle, everything fell apart.
Yes, literally. But like it's just really, really cool to go about seeing that. And something like this whole thing does, I really, really like, is not only is it okay to not be okay, it's also basically saying that it did not give everybody a storybook happy ending. There's some things that just did not, some things that did not get fixed. Even though like Frank and Rochelle's mother ended up getting together, but things like he was still caught up on his ex-girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure he's still gonna have some hangups on that. We still know that Lori probably still deals with insecurities, but she's still growing to learn about the fact that she has an insecurity, and she's getting, she's coming along with that.
She also said she doesn't want to play baseball.
Yeah,
which is
a big
honestly
thing.
Her dad probably got her to play, so she's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Actually, so that's her stepping up. Taylor and Ewan, they didn't get back together. But they are healing a little bit. They're like willing to be in the same room together now. They can talk again.
That's mentioned. They can even talk about. He even said in the thing in the last
best
episode,
boyfriend ever.
Yeah, best boyfriend ever. But like it's all that, and even like Kai and her father basically having a moment where they basically like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, I don't mean like I don't want you to feel like. Actually, I want you to talk about that one, David. Like how you feel, like how like that interaction between Kai and her father.
Yeah, going back to Kai, man. Kai had one of the more powerful moments in the show that actually got me to feel something in terms of like getting me a little teary-eyed, because like Kai's whole thing, like we mentioned, is her dad is the competitive coach. Every time Kai's dad put his 2 cents into the game when Kai was playing with the Pickles on the team, she like kind of sunk into the ground a little bit. Like his pressure was weighing her down, like legit. And at the championship game, after that play was made and Kai ended up getting out, that was like the lowest she's ever felt. And she was just like, I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm always trying to just I don't remember what she said exactly, but it's something along the lines of just trying to basically appeal to everyone, be something that she's not, which is obviously like also a double thing, because it's probably a whole thing of trying to be herself, but also like standards of everything. But then it was like her dad seeing that Kai was crying on the ground and just actually defeated. And as a parent, I couldn't fathom how that feels to see your child crying and you're partially at fault of why that's happening. He saw that and immediately locked the fuck in. He was like, this is not your fault. Like, this is not your fault. And I was just like, man, like, because he started tearing up and I started tearing up. So, like, they do tears really good in this animation style, by the way. Like, when you see the tears welling in the eyes, you're like, fuck, that's good. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. But, no, yeah, the resolution with Kai and her dad was handled well. But, yeah, the whole realization of, like, just Kai's dad being like, no, yeah, I fucked up. That hit for me. So, I like that.
Yeah, like, really great dynamic. And, like I said, because we even, again, kind of going back to what we mentioned before, which was generational curses. Because there's probably a strong, like, because like we said, like, this thing that, you know, her father went through the same exact situation growing up as a kid, just being pushed to the limit of, like, you know, basically like being like, okay, there's good, there's great, you need to be better than the great, you need to be the best, and if somebody's better than you, you're not the best, you working harder. And like in certain situations, it's good to go about having that, but also at this level when they're kids, it's a case of let the kids have fun, because every time her father said something to her, she had a frown on her face. She was defeated. She was just like, she wasn't even excited when he found out that he was going to be becoming the coach from that season.
It seemed like trauma, to be honest. Like I said, like it probably happened with baseball.
But the thing is, like when he was saying, like when he was trying to give her like words, like on the sideline, not even on the sideline. I understand she was sad when she was walking out to the dugout, but the moment she came around her friends, and every time the coach said something to her, like, just try your best.
There's that positivity, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when she started smiling.
Just enjoy the game. Just play the game. Casual fucking softball, bro. We're not playing ranked softball. It's like, and even like the whole fact that like the whole thing that brought all this back down was Lori just screaming, "It's just a game." Like, it's just a game. Like, yeah, you can be intense about it. Yeah, there can be opportunities with obviously sports, but like they're in middle school and this is softball. This is a game. Calm the fuck down. Like, it is not that serious. And then even like we mentioned with them tying up loose ends and just leaving things ambiguous at the end of the show, we didn't see what the ending score was. This whole show was leading up to a championship game we did not see an ending to, but regardless of what happened, they played the game, they had fun, and they went out for pizza. That's all it is. At the end of the day, they all went to pizza, and everyone's going about their day. Everything's chill. So, who knows if they won that championship? Who knows? But at the end of the day, like, it was a fun ride. That was a wild week for everyone involved.
Because like the cool thing is, like, in 5 years, those lessons they learned from this is gonna carry on forever. But in 5 years, who cares about who won this championship in a local neighborhood league? It's not. It does not make a single difference.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, David, how'd you like about your favorite character, Little Miss? Whose kid is this?
Whose fucking kid is this, bro? Like, this kid, it's like they, like I also said in the marketing, they kept showing this fucking kid drinking orange soda and burping all the time. I'm like, they're just saying cryptic shit, kind of like Luma from the Super Mario Brothers movie. Whose fucking kid is this, bro? And I don't think we're ever gonna get an answer, because we didn't. The only other character that was like this kid was the janitor for the school that was talking to Frank, and it was like flamboyant as a motherfucker. Love that dude. But also, who the fuck's kid is this, bro? Like, we never got an answer. So my whole headcanon is this is just a random omnipotent insert that is just always or just there. Just randomly. Just a fourth party involved. And it's like they're a non-biased fourth party of some type of otherworldly entity. Like, who fucking cares? Like, I don't know what that was, but it was goofy though.
Every time she belched, it's just like a moment of just clairvoyance. Burp, you better not blow it.
It gave the vibes of like something that would happen on like a Cartoon Network show, like Flapjack or like Chowder or something. Just some random character where like, who the fuck is this? But they're just in there every episode for some reason. And no one questions it. So That was funny. I did enjoy that character. But yeah, man. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, thumbs up, rate it, recommend it, watch it. Win or Lose is fucking amazing. I love this show. This was really
phenomenal show. And it's really cool because you don't have to watch this technically in any particular order. You can honestly, besides episode 8, you can come in at 7, anywhere between 7 and 1.
Yeah, you can literally just watch it
and just watch it.
Yeah. Between 7 and 1, you can watch any episode in any order because it's all the same 7 days until episode 8. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yes, I recommend it. Watch it. Phenomenal show. I enjoyed it, and I'm happy I was able to watch it with you.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like I wanted to watch it because of Volante. Being the sports guy, I want to watch this Disney-related sports show with him, but also just the subject matter as well. Like we've mentioned, is just really just up our alleys as well. And just seeing a show like this being something that like kids or like honestly anyone in all ages can watch it, but like to be 16 and watch this, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like the privilege of being 31 for me, and watching this, and then also having the relativity of the parents' perspectives as well, or the adults' perspectives. And I'm like, man, they really made this for all ages for real.
Yes, they really, really, really did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said 15 minutes, I'm a fucking liar. Watch this goddamn show, y'all. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, man. It's gonna be fun editing this in post, but yeah. We're gonna probably talk about this on the podcast whenever this goes up. But yeah, watch Win or Lose. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.